Is this a tablet or is this a laptop? Some people would say it's only a tablet. Other people may say it's kind of like a laptop. Well, I think that Apple is bringing this closer to the laptop realm, and I'm going to be showcasing a product that helps you get along that way. So stay tuned. Hey, it's HighTechDad. Welcome to my channel where I review all types of tech. Tech for the home, tech for work, and tech for on the go. And today we are going to be taking a look at a product that I think is more for on the go, but it works pretty well at home or at work. So it's kind of fitting into all three of these categories. Again, welcome to my channel. I have been doing all sorts of product reviews for over 2 decades now. You can visit my website at HighTechDad.com and see all of the various articles, how-tos, fix-its, and product reviews there. And of course, welcome to my YouTube channel where I've been doing all types of reviews as well. So today we are taking a look at the TARGUS VersaVu Bluetooth keyboard case. So I've already unboxed it, although stay tuned and I will go through what's on the box and what's in the box. And we're going to be taking a look at this particular solution, which is, as I already said, a Bluetooth keyboard case. I have it out here. You can see sort of what it looks like, and I'll go into that into the unboxing. I have not put my iPad into it yet, but it does have some really compelling features in here. Obviously, it's got the keyboard, it's got a touchpad, it protects your iPad well. It's got sort of a magnetic enclosure here. It is protecting the iPad all the way around, but it also has some unique viewing options available. So let's take a look at this and I'll tell you what I think. Let's see what's on the box here. So this is the TARGUS VersaVu Bluetooth keyboard case. So here you can see sort of an overview here, some of the highlights: military standard drop protection, patented 360 rotation. Now this is going to be an interesting one to test out. Multi-touch trackpad, that's always nice to have, and adjustable backlit keys. So this is suitable for an iPad Air, 11-inch, A16, M3. Be sure if you're looking for one that fits your iPad that it is the right model, because it won't fit inside here. And there is a hint here about the Apple Pencil. It looks like there's a space here to charge it. So then on the back side, yes, so there it is, support Apple Pencil charging. So that's always a really nice thing to have. I don't use the pencil that much, but it is nice to have it there. Here's more information about the military standard drop protection. So 4 feet, full row of media keys. So we'll get up and close and personal with the keyboard to see what that's all about. Multi-track touchpad, adjustable backlit keys. I always like that option for working at night or in bed or something like that. Multiple view options and the patented 360 rotation. Now this will be interesting to test out. So that's what's on the box. Let's take a look what's inside. Time to take a peek inside the box. So I've already opened up the little sealers here just to take a look. It opens, you can get a full-size view almost of the keyboard and trackpad. These are the media keys up top, and it reinforces some of the other features that were found on the box. So this is the trackpad, the iPad case itself. So it is sort of a pleather plastic. You can see it is fairly thick, but this is how it gets to that military grade protection. It is protected all the way around. Looks like at the bottom here there is an on-off for probably the keyboard and a USB-C charging port for the keyboard. It's connected here. There are some openings probably for other types of things, probably your iPad charging cable and your power button. There's the cutout for the camera. So then opening it up here, there's some more instructions on how the keyboard can be used. It looks like it has a sort of a tripod prop there, and it shows how it folds in, and then looks like it shows how to rotate the screen. So I'll save that. And then this is the keyboard itself, so hopefully you can see this, not too much glare. Looks like it's got home, search, brightness, other types of things, media controls, volume, lock, search, delete. So it's a pretty large keyboard, which is kind of nice, and it's got the other functions on the side. Nice to have shifts on either side. It's got arrow keys, and this is the trackpad, which is clickable. You can hear that. And then this is the place where your iPad is secured. So up at the top here is where the Apple Pencil goes. And then I'll test the rotating a little bit later. But then on the back here, there is a hinge that allows you to rotate it down to prop it. So kind of hard to see in this angle, but that props, and you can sort of see the hinge right in here. So it is fairly sturdy, and you can adjust it a little bit to adjust the angle depending on your liking, but the hinge feels fairly strong. So let's start testing it out. A few more things about what's inside the box. I neglected a couple of things here. So you do have a user guide that sort of walks through all of the information, talks about the keyboard, what the different items mean on the keyboard. So that one button that I didn't know is supposedly to take a screenshot. So that is nice to have a dedicated key for that. Then it talks about the multiple viewing angles, how to do the 360 rotation, and then different gestures for the trackpad. And then it has it in other languages as well. And then the other item that is in here looks like, I'm guessing, the USB-C charging cable. So yeah, so it's interesting. It's a Type A to Type C cable. I'm sure you can use a Type C to Type C, but it's nice to always have one of these handy in case you don't have a Type C connection available and you only have the legacy Type A. So that's what else is in the box. Okay, so let's take a look at the case itself. I've already put in my iPad. As you can see, it shows the Apple logo through the back. There are cutouts for various items on the case itself. So obviously for the camera, you have buttons to control the volume. You have at the bottom here, you have a USB Type-C port to charge your iPad. That's the cutout. And then there is the USB Type-C port to charge the keyboard. And there is an on-off for the keyboard. And that is about it. Oh, there is the fingerprint reader cutout as well as a cutout for, I believe that's the microphone. So as you can see, it is fairly thick. The iPad is probably half the thickness of the entire case, but that is so that you can have that military standard drop protection. So pretty much every side is protected in case of a drop. So now we obviously have this open. It is pretty much almost a full-size keyboard. It does have the sort of indicators help you touch type. It's got little raised bumps here on the F and J keys so you can touch type pretty well. It has shifts on either side, which is always nice. I've seen keyboard cases that didn't have a shift, and that kind of is hard for speed typing. It has all of the various command option controls, has directional buttons. There's a function key. There are a variety of keys to control your iPad once you do have it paired. So that's kind of nice. And then also, one nice little feature is there are many cases that I've seen that don't have a place to store your Apple Pencil, and this definitely securely holds it in. and it will charge it when you put it in. So there's the slot for that. You can pop it in and you can see that it's charging right away. So I'm gonna connect the keypad, the keyboard to my iPad and see how it works. And then I'll show you how the various display modes are to prop this up. So remember how I was talking about how Apple is starting to move the iPad closer to more of a laptop type of feel. I'm running the latest developer beta of ipadOS 26, and you can see now that things are windowed, much like how you would have on a laptop. It even has ways to maximize, minimize, and change the displays that way. So I'm going to see now about connecting the keyboard to this. It's not in pairing mode right now, so I need to read the directions and figure out how to go into pairing mode. So here it is right here, establishing a connection with the device. So it looks like you have to press Function and C to have it go into pairing mode. So I'm going to do that. There is a little indicator for Bluetooth on the keyboard, and there it is, Targus. So I'm clicking on that, and I am going to say yes, I would like to pair it, and within seconds it's connected. So let's see if that works. Yes, the trackpad is working for everything. I can do other things like tabbing around. So it looks like pairing is super easy to do. So you just have to remember the function and C key to do that. And there is that hint with the little Bluetooth icon on the C key. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is a backlight to the keyboard itself. I should probably film this at night, but it does have backlighting for the keyboard itself. Once again, back to the manual. I wanted to figure out how to turn on and off and adjust the brightness of the keyboard backlighting. So there is another icon here that looks like a setting or rising sun, and if you hit the function key and tap on that, you can turn it on and make it brighter or dimmer. There it looks like there are 3 settings. So this is the brightest, this is off, then you have low, medium, and high. So that's kind of nice if you want to preserve your battery life during the day. You can just turn it off and you're good to go. So the VersaVu does have a unique type of way to do the sort of kickstand. So you can sort of see, it's kind of hard to put it on video, but behind this are 2 hinges, and you can basically fold down this part here. It's pretty hard to do. It's very firm, so it is a little resistant, but maybe over time it'll loosen up a bit. But basically it goes down to this type of a position, and then you can have it just sort of propped up that way. So hopefully you can see that. You can also adjust it to make it a little lower. So that's a little bit lower. But then what is really unique about this case is that you can actually pivot your iPad to do portrait. So I'm going to attempt to show you that. It is a little bit more involved, but it does make it very compelling. And looking here at the hole that is right there, I'm wondering if this is to hold your Apple Pencil. You could do that right at the top there. So that's kind of a nice little feature if you're not going to be using the holder there. All right, so let's see if I can pivot this to show how it works in portrait mode. So there is buried on the back here a hinge or a pivot that lets you essentially rotate everything. So you do have to pull it out a little bit, and then you basically can slide it up. Kind of hard to do on a tablecloth here, but it slides up, and then you can actually rotate it so that it stands in portrait mode. So it's a little bit off the screen here. Let me see if I can do that. And so basically there it is in portrait mode. So there is something that slides up and then you can rotate it. You do have to like kick it out a little bit so it doesn't hit the keyboard, but then you can just rotate it back. It's a little easier to do once you had it up, and then you slide it back down and it's back in landscape mode. So that's a quick overview of the VersaVu Bluetooth keyboard case from Targus. I want to say thank you to Targus for sending out a sample so I could test this out. I have spent some time with it. There are a couple of little things that I want to go over, some things that I like, some things that I'm not quite sure I like. And I have reviewed some other iPad keyboard cases, and you can take a look either here or here. Not sure where it shows up, but there is a link to some other reviews of keyboard cases. One thing that I would recommend in the settings to go to the trackpad setting and enable just the tap to click, because it takes some getting used to pushing down on the trackpad itself to register a click, but I do that on my MacBook Pros and things like that. Also, as I was playing around, I realized there is a much easier way to get out the pencil. Once you have the kickstand enabled here, you can just, this is very flexible, the top part, and you can just take it out very easily. I was struggling a little bit before, but that snaps in very well. So this retails a little bit over $100, which I think is fairly reasonable. There's some other keyboard cases that are upward of $200. They may have come down in price, and I think this is a pretty good price point for this. So take a look at the link in the description. I'll have a link to the Amazon product as well. There are versions for the iPad Pro, so make sure that you get the right version when you do order something. And let's see, what else can I say about this? So it is a little bit bigger than I would probably use. Like I said, it's about twice as thick as an iPad. But again, that is for the drop protection and that sort of thing. So if you are rough on your iPads, this might be a good case for you to have. I do like the ability for it to pivot from landscape to portrait. It takes some getting used to and learning how to slide it up and then rotate it to do it. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. So you can see I did that pretty easily. And it seems to work quite well. So I'd love to know your thoughts. What type of keyboard case, if any, are you using to protect your iPad? Do you like using a keyboard and trackpad with your iPad? I must say I like it. It brings it closer to that laptop without having to lug around a laptop. So it's kind of up to you. And some additional thoughts. So I have tested some cases where the keyboard itself is charged and powered by the iPad. There are good things and bad things about that type of a setup. The good thing is you don't have to worry about charging your keyboard. It's always charging from the iPad. The bad thing about it is it'll drain your iPad battery faster than something like this, where the battery is built into the keyboard case itself. Other than that, I think this is a pretty solid iPad case. So especially for the price, especially for the features, and for the fact that Apple is moving in the direction to make it more like an iPad, so, or like a laptop. You can do windows, you can tile windows, and that sort of thing. I showed that briefly in the video. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you found it useful. If you did, and if you like product reviews like this, please subscribe. Please give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. You get more tech product reviews, and I'm encouraged to do more tech product reviews. Also, if you have any questions, you can ask me on social media. Just search for HighTechDad, and I'm on a lot of the different platforms. You can also go to my Facebook page, which is at facebook.com/HTD blog. And lastly, and obviously, I have my website, which is at HighTechDad.com. And there are lots of articles, reviews, fix-its, opinions, and things like that. And there is a contact form there if you want to reach out and ask me any questions there. So once again, thanks for watching. I appreciate your support, and stay tuned for my next tech review coming soon.